When you are creating wet felt, whether it is flat felt, Nuno felt, or sculptural felt, and you intend eco printing it afterwards, I have a few tips for you which will help you have a more successful result once you get to the eco printing stage. The first thing is I like to work in a natural undyed fiber. Now you can eco print on top of colored felt, but any fiber that has been commercially prepared, if you are eco printing like I do in the dirty pot using the pot as mordant, rather than preparing the fabric with traditional powdered mordants, you are processing your bundles for a longer period of time and you are boiling them in the pot liquid. So, what might happen if you work on a colored felt, colored wool or fiber, you create your felt from that and then you eco print, you may lose some of that color. It may leach out in the printing pot. So, working with natural undyed wool, this will not happen. So, for example, if I wanted to felt a jacket and I wanted to have some different colors, I would felt the jacket in white, but I might edge around any opening or around the neckline in a dark natural wool. Portuguese merino would be a good example. It can come in a creamy white, but there also are beautiful, very, very dark chocolate fleeces. So if you had that brown, natural Portuguese merino, you could also make a spiral as an embellishment on the back of a jacket in the darker wool. It will felt together with the creamy wool, the natural wool, and then you can eco print on top of that, and you will still see that detail. Usually, though, I just use natural white and don't bother to add any darker tones. It's not really my style. Then the next thing that's really important to know is that when you are eco printing and you are not using powdered mordants, you don't get the same prints on cellulose fabric as you do on protein based fabric. And for that very reason, if you are creating your own felt, it's really important to understand that the embellishing fibers you use will play a really significant part in the end results that you achieve. So I highly recommend you do not embellish with wool or silk and that you choose to use some sort of a cellulose fiber, such as bamboo, banana, tencel, any of those cellulose-based embellishing fibers in a natural creamy white color, they will actually not absorb the eco-printed color as well as the silk or wool does. So this means that they stand out a lot more on your finished piece. And this gives a really beautiful effect. So you can get multiple layers and colors and combinations by just felting in white, using cellulose-based embellishing fibers, and then using the magic of the dirty pot process to create complex results. And there is one artificial fiber, one man-made fiber called trilobal nylon. It's the only nylon or artificial fiber I use at all in my studio. And that actually, interestingly, does take the natural dye very well. So when I want to create more complex results, I will have wool as the base of my felt. I will then embellish this with the cellulose fiber, and I will further embellish on top of the cellulose and the wool with the trilobal nylon. The commercial name is Firestar, but this is not to be confused with Angelina. So Firestar or trilobal nylon is how you will identify this if you're looking to buy it. And so what happens in that case, if I'm eco printing afterwards my felt, let's say with onion skins, the trilobal nylon will take a shimmer of color. Underneath that, the cellulose fiber won't. And then underneath that again, the wool will. So I'm building up multiple layers of color, but it's only on one piece of felt. So The trilobal nylon gives a sophisticated shimmer on the surface of your piece, and it's definitely well worth looking out for if you're interested in experimenting and going ahead and eco-printing your felt afterwards. So wool, cellulose, and optional Firestar. Those are my top recommendations if you are eco-printing with the intention, or felting, apologies, felting with the intention of eco-printing.